In a world where everybody hears interest rates drop, interest rates rise, interest rates on a regular basis, it can be a little mind-numbing and a little scary, frankly. So I'm going to do a deep dive into what waiting could mean for buyers in 2025 and even into 2026 if you're on the sidelines right now looking to make a purchase, but maybe those interest rates have you a little bit nervous, maybe you've seen some bad headlines. This video is for you. I'm going to talk about how waiting could cost you thousands of dollars. And I'm being completely honest. I'm opening up the book, I'm revealing the curtains on what happens in the real estate market when rates change. So stay tuned. Hi, I'm David Moyer. I'm a local real estate agent here in Dayton, Ohio. I've been in the business for over 20 years and I want to tell you a little bit about what that experience means for you. And in today's video, we're going to talk about waiting for those rates to drop and what it could possibly mean. If you're sitting on the couch right now, or you're sitting on your lunch break and you're watching this video and you have home ownership in the back of your mind, but you're thinking, gosh, my friends that bought those houses 3 years ago and got these 4 or 5% interest rates or even 6% interest rates are telling me I should wait because they have such great rates. So I don't know if I want to buy right now. Let me tell you, that is probably a decision that if you stick with it, you're going to regret down the road. Right now, according to the National Association of Realtors, if we even have a 0.5% rate change, we're going to see 5.5 million homeowners that all of a sudden can see home ownership as being affordable. And these are people that are making their moves for the second, third, or fourth time, or even your first-time home buyers. So imagine having 5.5 million people all of a sudden appear onto the market. Let's put this into perspective. Let's talk about the recent phenomenon that's happened over the past 4 years of the Taylor Swift Eras Tour. If Taylor Swift was somebody that was just singing live, acoustic, doing bars, and then all of a sudden tried to fill up these arenas, I bet her ticket prices would be $10, $15, $20. And if you remember what happened when she went on tour and announced these ticket sales, those arenas sold out within hours. And people were paying upwards of 4, 5 figures for those tickets. Same thing with real estate. Right now, the inventory is very, very low, so the competition is very, very high. But it is stable for the most part. If those rates change and all of a sudden more people can afford to get into the market, or all those other people that are just like you sitting on the sidelines decide to jump off the fence, there's your competition. And what happens when the competition goes up? The demand goes up and the price goes up. So that home you're looking at right now that's maybe listed at $300,000 and you're thinking, well, maybe instead of the 7% interest rate right now, I want to wait and see if I can get a 6.5 or a 6.25 or maybe even, heaven sent, a 6%. Once that happens, the competition is going to flood the market. You're going to have multiple offers when you present your offer, and that seller is going to request a highest and best. And guess what? Now instead of a $300,000 property, you're looking at buying a $325,000, maybe even a $350,000 home. So all of that savings you were hoping to have because you wanted that lower interest rate, gone. You're looking at making the same payments with the lower interest rate that you would have if you had bought now. Does that make sense? I hope it doesn't scare you. That's not the point of this. The point is not to scare you. The point is to educate you and show you how market shifts happen and how they affect you. And I'm not kidding myself. I know how the mind works. I think the same way too. If I'm looking to buy a home or an investment property or a car or anything substantial, I know that those interest rates play a huge role and they can cause the fear in the back of your mind to speak a little bit louder than it normally would. But the importance is to talk to a professional, someone like myself that does this on a daily basis. You may only move 2 or 3 times in your entire lifetime. The typical buyer right now may move around 3 to 5 times over the course of 50 years. I help people move every single day, 7 days a week. I'm a realtor after all. We don't take days off, right? So it's natural to have those desires to want the best deal possible. But as we mentioned before, as those rates go down, the demand goes way, way up. And then you start to hear things like, well, how about if you just marry the house, date the rate? What does that mean? It's not a phrase that I like, but it essentially means get into the house now. You can always refinance later. That is a great strategy, but it is not set in stone. Those rates may not change for quite some time. So when you look at what you can do, getting into the home now when the prices are what they are before they continue to go up is going to be the best bet possible. And yes, if you're in the home for a couple of years, a couple of months, and the rates dramatically change, do a refinance. Keep in mind that refinance is going to cost you a couple of $1,000s for all of the processing, the reappraisal, everything like that. So you're going to have to pay a little bit up front to do that appraisal. But if you're looking at staying in your home for 5 more years and you're doing that adjustment to the interest rate and you're refinancing now, you will see that recoupment of those costs happen rather quickly. So here's an example. Let's say refinancing your home costs you $2,500 and you're looking at saving $100 a month if you refinance the property because of this great rate change. Well, now what happens is you better make sure that you're in that property for at least 2 years because you have $100 a month in savings and you're going to want to count up $2,500. Once you've gone past that, the rest is gold. So you're going to want to make sure you're in that home. What I see happen so many times is I see people that'll do cash out refinances. They will do it over and over and over and over again. They've been in their home for 7 to 10 years. They bought it for $200,000. Now it's worth $300,000. And I get with them, they want to sell their home. And I say, well, do you have an approximate amount that you own on the property? And how much is your mortgage? And they will tell me, well, we owe $289,000. That's shocking. You've been in the home for 7 years. You bought it for $200,000. I don't see any major improvements. I don't see any huge additions on your home. I don't see brand new roof, brand new kitchen, brand new bathroom. But you're telling me you owe $89,000 more? Well, we refinanced a couple of times. We took some cash out for this and this and this. Listen, there's always a reason. I definitely respect everyone's choices. Everyone has the freedom to do what they want. But if you're not making those economic choices and really taking a look at how it's going to affect you in the future, that can be detrimental. Bottom line, it's okay to get into the home and expect to refinance down the road. Rates change all the time. Oh, and while we're talking about supply and demand too, what happens when those rates go down? We've already talked about how the inventory sometimes remains the same, but the demand goes up because of those rates coming down. One thing is true, as those rates slowly begin to tick down, eventually, hopefully, the increase in the demand, the increase in what the buyers are looking for goes up dramatically. So it's not an equal crossover that you would think it is. It's not, well, as this ticks down, this many buyers, this ticks down, this many buyers. The moment those rates start to show a little bit of a trend down, the buyers flood the market. So the demand far exceeds, in terms of time frame, the time that it takes for the rates to drop down. So timing the market is going to cost you thousands of dollars, I promise you. So what should you do if you're ready to make that move? Focus on the monthly payment that's going to work best for you. Maybe take a look at a price point that a lot of other buyers aren't taking a look at now to see if you can get the best deal and maybe make some changes to that property to increase your equity even faster. So if it does become time to sell 5, 6, 7, 8 years down the road, you're in a much better position. For those that are looking to wait, all you're doing is you are giving your landlord the equity they are charging you per month. And that's right. That rent that you're paying is 100% interest, and that is going directly into that landlord's equity on their investment property. So getting into a home you have right now with a comfortable price point and a comfortable monthly payment, you're going to start building equity now. If you're looking to outpace the market and you're looking to time the interest rates, what's going to happen is you're potentially going to be holding off for 6 months, 8 months, a year, 2 years, and then you make that purchase and you're going to miss out on all that equity you could have been saving up from day one once you move in. So, do you want to start building that equity, building wealth and generational wealth now, or do you want to hold off so you could potentially save about $20 to $30 a month in 6 months to a year? I think the answer is pretty clear. So here are some key economic factors I would recommend that you watch. Don't just simply type in, when are interest rates going to drop? If that was possible, we would all know exactly when we're going to buy a home and exactly when we're going to sell a house, right? So what I would encourage you to do is keep an eye on certain things such as unemployment numbers. What's the Fed doing? Right now, that's kind of a complicated question, but what do the indicators say? What do the people that do this on a regular basis and make economic predictions say is going to be happening? What is unemployment going to be doing? How is inflation? those things make tremendous impacts on the housing market. Just look at back during the pandemic in 2020 into 2021 and even 2022. Inflation was through the roof, unemployment was through the roof, and naturally so. There were factors such as the pandemic that was causing all this to happen. But what people didn't expect was the real estate market to all of a sudden exceed all these expectations and to boom. So keep an eye on what those numbers do and how it affected us back in 2020. So make sure you stay in contact with your lender. Talk to them on a regular basis. They have access to numbers and information that we don't always see on a regular basis. I talk to my preferred lender all the time about what her expectations are. So stay in contact with them. Also stay in contact with your realtor. Give me a call and let's talk about it. I've said this time and time again, you don't have to be ready to make that move now to get together with me as your buyer's agent or your listing agent. We can still put together a plan now that's going to help you in the future for what your family's goals are and what your end dream of homeownership is. Bottom line, confidence in this real estate market comes from staying informed, being educated, and knowing all the different factors that come into play when you're looking to make a move and purchase a property. It's not about luck. There is no luck out there. If you're waiting on luck, you may be waiting for a really, really long time. So once again, let's get together. Let's talk about your goals. Let's talk about your plans. Let's talk about how those interest rates could affect you. Is that what's holding you back? Is it the inventory that's holding you back? Is it the lack of being able to find things? We can put together a plan for that as well. I talk to sellers all the time that are off the market. They're not looking to go onto the market, but they are willing to negotiate with a buyer if a buyer finds their property of interest. So let's talk about it. Let's look at off-market listings. Let's look at listings that are coming soon. There are a lot of opportunities out there. I even have the opportunity to really blanket an entire neighborhood. If your move involves being in a certain niche market, I can go out there and I can contact those homeowners. I can do the research on who's most likely to sell, and we can approach them in a professional way and say, we would love to offer something on your home. Could we schedule a time to look at it? We realize you're not looking to sell right now, but maybe there's a win-win for everyone here. So there's 1,000 different ways to get there. Don't let the news scare you. Let's make a plan. Thanks for watching. I'm David Moyer. Once again, I'm a local real estate expert here in Dayton, Ohio. Have been for 20 years, and I'm all about educating people on the home buying process, how different things affect whether they're buying or selling, relocating, downsizing, you name it. I can help you through the process. Make sure you like, follow, comment, subscribe, do all the things. I try and make these topics different every single week. And if there's something specific that you would love for me to talk about or make a video about, drop me a comment. Go to my bio. You can find all my information there and we can talk about it. And I love selling real estate in Dayton, Ohio.